Hello, everybody, and welcome to the March 3rd Trips and Traps. I'm Andy Serling, joined by Eric Donovan.
Two segments to bring you this week, 6 races altogether. We'll start off from February 16th. Seems like a long time ago already. We'll take a look at the 9th race, a maiden claiming race for New York Red 16,000 3-year-old fillies. And we're going to take a look at a few horses that have trouble at the start here. The 1 December Diva, the 5 Frankly Miss Scarlet.
Yeah, now this was a very fast-paced race. Now the first thing you see, of course, is that the 1 December Diva did break slowly. Frankly Miss Scarlet, she steadies out in here. The 9-horse E-Coach, or maybe that's the 10-horse E-Coach. E-Coach is the horse that actually breaks the race apart by being very aggressively ridden in this race. Don't mind aggressive riding, and you see the 1 December Diva steadying back there a little bit. But this was a race that just fell apart.
Yeah, it was. But I think there are a couple of things important to note here. December Diva had run okay first time out, going 6 furlongs, ran second time out at a mile. This was a turn back to 6 furlongs today, so, you know, I thought she would run a little bit better here. She did have that trouble on the second time starter, Frankly Miss Scarlet. The 5-horse was dropping out of a special weight into maiden claiming. So these were two, situations where these horses should have probably run a little bit better than they did last time out.
I don't disagree. And December Diva is going to get some note because of breaking slowly. But ultimately, I think that horse, and we'll show you at the top of the stretch how far back she is, she benefited from the fast pace. E-Coach is the one, as you see, opened this big lead right here that breaks the race apart. Back here, December Diva. Frankly Miss Scarlet, who had the trouble, rushed up for good position, and E-Coach tries to blow the race open, and that just blows up in her face. I guess you could argue that Frankly Miss Scarlet with the trouble and then moving up kind of aggressively put herself in a semi-tough position, but you're not wrong. She could have run better. She has no finish here. No,
she's lagging in the stretch, I guess you would say. Maybe the horse you want out of this race the most is the 10 E-Coach. A horse that went 22-4 was the opening quarter, 46-1, the half-mile fraction for, state bred maiden claiming 16,000, going 6 furlongs. Those are legit fractions.
I tend to agree. She's the one that will get the least amount of attention and the one with the most trouble. There's the 5, Frankly Miss Scarlet, and you'll see her just getting sort of shut off there. And it's a situation where she breaks a little bit on her heels, and then the rider just allows the door to shut. You have to be more aggressive in those holes. It's a problematic situation, but obviously cost her. But I agree, E-Coach is the one that didn't have the trouble, but may have had the toughest trip.
All right, we'll get on to our second race now. Maiden claiming 16,000 mile and 70 yards of distance here. This is from the 19th. This was part of the day that we canceled on Saturday. It was after the first 3 races we canceled. Giant Inside Speed Track. We're taking a look at the 8-horse Agogo.
Yeah, Agogo will have problems, and Agogo is 2 from the inside. I'm not sure I can really circle it right now. I'm guessing it's somewhere about there in the purple.
Right.
2 from the inside. The horse will stumble at the start, losing all chance right there, and get shuffled back and way to the outside. The horse is now on the outside and just out of position the whole race.
Yeah, I mean, this was a day that was extremely windy early on. Well, obviously early on in the car because we only made it through 3 races, but it definitely played a large impact on the way the races were run and unfolded. And Agogo, a horse that was dropping out of a maiden special weight that you thought might show speed, ends up toward the back of the pack here 4 wide.
Yeah, and is now like 8 lengths out of it and would have been much closer with a clean break and in the ball game. And as you'll see, the pace slows down when you hit the backstretch. And obviously the wind was playing havoc on these races, but the pace perceptibly slows down because you see the entire field coming together like an accordion basically here. And poor Agogo, who had that bad start, is stuck all the way in the outside and really eating all the wind. And you can see outside of that 6-horse is in the purple Agogo. Agogo just never has a fair chance, and I don't think runs that badly. He'd only be beaten about 11, 12 lengths running 4th.
I agree, considering the way the track was playing and the way the wind impacted the races. I thought Agogo ran well in here. And I just also thought really not much apprentice Brian Pedroza could have done here after breaking slow. You kind of get sucked into making that move to, get to the front of the pack here because the pace slows down quite as much. But, what do you do? Stay back and stay wide or try to move forward and be wide? It's just a lose-lose situation for him.
The race was over for this horse when they broke out of the gate, and there's nothing that Brian Pedroza could do about that. It's not his fault the horse stumbled, and it's not his fault what happened thereafter. But this is a horse that will look to have run much worse than it did run, and also you had those chaotic situations. Agogo took a ton of money in this race, actually ending up the second choice at $3.15 to 1. Agogo will be a slightly bigger price, a similar field next time in all likelihood. And I think we can give Agogo one more chance. And here is that stumble, just so you can get the full effect of it when they come out of the gate.
Yeah, that'll pretty much wipe out a speed horse there, especially one from the outside when a couple other horses toward the inside go out for the lead. So Agogo, as you said, after the break, pretty much no shot.
Yeah, Agogo is one I'm looking forward to betting again in a very similar situation.
All right, one more race to bring you in this first segment. We'll fast forward or go back, I guess, if you're looking at it today, to February 21st, race number 3. Heavy favorite in this race was Frazel. It was a $10,000 starter allowance, and Frazel just gets in a bad spot from the start here.
Yeah, I mean, we're not making major excuses for horses that are as heavily favored as Frazel, but you know what? A favorite can get in a bad position just like a big priced horse, and Frazel's on the inside, and this will come up in the second segment. If you have the inside post and the pace isn't as quick as you want it to be and you find yourself going, I think you better commit. You better make a decision and say, you know what, I'm in here, I got to go. I can't be losing position. And once again, something that Richie Migliore talks about this a lot, he was talking about it yesterday in the National Racing Report, it's a question of going forward. And Frazel gives up the position here, and he ends up in a big jackpot.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with a horse like this. When you ride a horse like this, that you want to be aggressive or you want to take back right away. You don't want to be stuck down there, at the half-mile pole coming into the turn with horses are probably going to try to come over a little bit on the turn on you, and that's exactly what happens to Frazel. He's got to drop back and come 3 wide here. And he's going to have some trouble on the stretch too.
Yeah, and at this point, Missile Motors on the outside has kind of gotten the jump on him, and Missile Motors is a good old pro, and he's never able to get it back. And the problem is he's between horses, and we'll show you some of the head-on. He's in tight a bit, bumped a little bit in here, but this is just a very, very tough spot for a horse to be in, and he's trying to re-rally himself. He's not trying to re-rally himself against one horse, but 2 horses, one inside, one outside. Yeah,
he's never comfortable the entire race at all. As you said, we don't like to get up here and, talk about 3 to 5 shots and whatnot, but it's important to note why they get beat sometimes. And Frazel, if he's a short price again, you have to respect this effort.
Yeah, it's not. We're not saying, save your money to bet on Frazel. He's going to be a short price next time he runs. But sometimes we like to discuss why short-priced horses lose races, and Frazel was obviously the best horse in this race and put in an uncomfortable position. And I think it's a difficult position, and that's why people say when you have a horse with some speed and on the rail and there's not a lot of speed, or Frazel's not really a speed horse, you have to make that conscious decision going to the race. And once again, that will come up in the second segment. That email address, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, is tripsandtraps@NYRAinc.com.